A Christmas setting? The Titanic meets the Poseidon Adventures? And Bernard Cribbins. There's a number of reasons why I really like this episode. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin, I am a geek, you are watching Kevin the Geek. And it is time for my review of the Christmas Doctor Who special, The Voyage of the Damned. I know it's not actually Christmas, but I've still got to put the Christmas hat on because I'm reviewing a Christmas episode at the end of the day. If you are new to the channel, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And don't forget to check out all of my other content. But today we are looking at Voyage of the Damned. So some of the information that I will be talking about in this review and my upcoming reviews will be coming from this little book here. It is The Writer's Tale by Russell T Davies, the showrunner of Doctor Who at the time, and Benjamin Cook, who was part of the Doctor Who magazine. And they basically wrote a book which isn't really a book, it's basically a collection of emails going backwards and forwards, kind of looking at how Russell T Davies comes up with his ideas for his scripts and things like that. And this is about the time that they actually started writing the book, basically when they were writing this episode and season 4 and onwards. And for me, I found it really interesting because it gives you a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. Now, let's talk first of all about Mr. Copper, a little character who is okay in this episode, but the original plan wasn't supposed to be him. In this book, it was revealed that this was going to be the actor Dennis Hopper. And in this book, they spoke about how that came about. So in an email, Russell T Davies wrote, "Right, Mental Tuesday. First up, we got interest from Dennis Hopper. Yes, the Dennis Hopper, American movie star Dennis Hopper. James Strong met his agent on a plane or something on his way back from the US, having done ADR with Richard Carnes for the Dalek episodes. What a showbiz tale. I could fit him into the episode maybe, if I can work out who he can play. A little cameo or a proper big part, I don't know. Maybe the ship's historian. Mind you, we should be so lucky. I'll believe it when I see it." It's kind of crazy when you think about how randomly these kind of people can get involved with a TV show like Doctor Who or something like that. And it was exactly the same with Kylie Minogue, who ultimately did end up in the episode, whereas unfortunately Dennis Hopper didn't quite manage to make the cut. But the Kylie Minogue one was quite interesting. In the book, Russell T Davies writes, "In other news, Kylie Minogue wants to appear in Doctor Who. Yes, Kylie Minogue. I wish I could see your face as you read that sentence. Don't worry, it won't happen. Will Baker, Kylie's creative director, was at the press launch of Doctor Who and said how marvellous it would be to get Kylie in Doctor Who. He'd had a bit to drink, so I didn't believe it. But then he phoned Julie on Thursday and insisted he'd been serious. The Christmas episode was always going to have a one-off companion, or maybe a couple of one-off companions. But if it were Kylie, well, no, it won't be. Nothing will happen. But I might have to have lunch with Kylie, and that alone is worth it." So again, it's just completely come out of nowhere that someone kind of bumps into someone at a event for Doctor Who, and ultimately they decide, you know what, maybe we'll make this little suggestion, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And I really liked it. Now, the character of Astrid, she was pretty good. You know, I'm not going to lie, I liked her. I felt it was a bit of a shame that they didn't get Kylie to do a bit of a musical number. I mean, if you're going to get Kylie, you know, one of the biggest pop divas, you'd like to think you're going to get her in some way, shape or form. It was kind of like how they got Catherine Jenkins, you know, years later down the line in the Matt Smith era. And again, like, if you're going to have Catherine Jenkins, you got to have her singing. You know, she's got such an amazing voice. So, like I said, little minor thing there, but Kylie Minogue's character Astrid, she was nice. She was fun. She was kind of flirty. She, you know, had all the makings to be a companion. But that wasn't always the case. And that's another thing I picked up in this book. So the way that Russell T Davies described Astrid to Kylie Minogue initially was by saying they're aboard a spaceship called the Titanic. It's hit by meteorites. It destroys Buckingham Palace at the end. And the part of Astrid would be a waitress who joins with the Doctor to escape the wreckage. You think that she's going to be the new companion, but then she does something towards the end to defend the Doctor, but something rash. She picks up a laser gun and kills someone in a situation that the Doctor could have talked his way out of. So effectively, she fails the Companion Academy. He's disappointed in her, and she's left behind at the end because she's good, but not good enough. So I think that's a really interesting point, and to be honest, I don't think I've ever really thought about that in that regard, that a lot of time in their first episode, it really sums up for the Doctor, and they have to have some sort of moment which makes him think, yes, you are going to be a good person to have on board because you've passed my test, if you like. Maybe that's something I should look into. Maybe I should do a video where I rank the companions' opening stories. If you like that idea, drop it down in a comment below. Now, David Tennant was great in this episode. He was his usual enigmatic self. He was charming, flirty, sexy, adventurous, all those different kind of things that you would want to try and get from the David Tennant's version of the Doctor. He also had quite a bit of sass in this episode, and of course it gave him his big speech where he, you know, goes on that bit about, you know,
I'm the Doctor. I'm a Time Lord. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Kasterborous.
And that is a speech that I actually included recently in my video where I ranked the top 10 most badass Doctor Who speech moments. If you missed that, please do go back and check that out. But he was just really, really good in this, as well as the supporting characters. Now, you could say that Mr. Copper was a little bit cheesy, that they wrote him quite obviously, you know, kind of knowing nothing. But I thought he was charming in an old grandpa-y kind of way. I thought that a lot of these I can't actually remember the name, so I do apologise. The guy who was the jerk kind of character, the one who realistically everyone expected to be killed off, but didn't get killed off, you know. He was good in the role that he was asked to play, and he was intentionally unlikable. The two, the married couple, again, I can't remember the names, but I always know the guy was, you know, a lot of children's kind of TV around that time, and I think he was in like a series of like Tracy Beaker, you know, the Jacqueline Wilson kind of live action adaptation. So he was absolutely fantastic, as well as the wife. And Midshipman Frame, Russell Tovey coming in, he is one that I do remember, mostly because literally in that book, basically Russell T Davies is constantly talking how much he's pretty much in love with that guy. So that's pretty much why I remember his name. But yeah, he was fantastic in his role as well. The villains though, yeah, not good. Not good. I mean, the heavenly hosts kind of thing, they had yeah, basic robots. They were basically like the robot killer Santas from the past two Christmas episodes, and they served a function to chase the ragtag group of survivors and to try and kill them before you get to the main technically bad guy, even though he was sort of hardly in it, the Max Capricorn. Um, Very cheesy, that guy playing him. Yeah, and again, I get they were probably going for that, and they wanted it to be a little bit like overly cheesy, but it didn't work for me. It really, really didn't. Oh, and I forgot Banakafalata. He's the one I do remember the name again. You know, the little spiky. And again, you know, before it all kind of came into forefront, Russell T Davies knew that he wanted to have, you know, because it was supposed to be a sci-fi Titanic. It was, you know, a set in the actual time of Titanic. He wanted a lot of aliens and things like that. And admittedly, the majority of them turned out to be basic humanoids and human looking. But at the very least, he went with one kind of character who was a little bit more alien, and I thought he was a great character, and I really wish we could have seen more of him. That would have been really, really nice to see. And I liked the dynamic he had with Astrid, with Kylie Minogue. That was a really nice dynamic. So I dug them two as a couple, you know, the cyborg and the waitress. Hey, maybe that could be a little spin-off. The cyborg and the waitress. I like that. A lot of your other usual stuff, you know, your special effects, the set, the costumes, they were pretty solid. The music was pretty good as well. And I like that they had a sort of live singer, you know, doing a couple of Christmas songs. That was quite nice. You know, it gives you a little bit of, you know, extra stuff there. But overall, it was just a fun Christmas tragedy adventure. And yes, it was light-hearted at times. Yes, it tried to go serious at times and didn't quite land it. But as I always say, that's pretty much what you want at Christmas. You don't want anything, you know, when you sat down, you've had your big Christmas meal and your belly's full of turkey and Christmas pudding and stuffing and all the usual bits and bobs. You just want to be able to lay there on the sofa, not think too much about it, and just have fun with it. But the one scene that I do always think back to that I thought was really dark and really caught me by surprise is the whole death scene for the married couple. You know, when the first one, obviously, he kind of falls and he dies into the engine thing. I mean, that was just so shocking, just came completely out of the blue. And then the wife kind of doing a self-sacrifice to save the others, but also to be with her husband, even though he was dead. That one was a bit of a tough one to watch. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, and I still find it tough, even to this day. Now, don't forget, I do have to score this episode, and that means I have to rank the episode by giving 10 different categories a score out of 10 to give an overall score out of 100. So let's do my scores for Voyage of the Damned. And there you have it. The Voyage of the Damned has scored 67 marks out of 100, which means that it is a B- rated episode. Remember to give me your thoughts down in the comments below. Oh, I have just thought of one thing that I didn't quite mention earlier on. I'll tell you what I did love. I loved the new theme tune soundtrack. You know, the one that they kind of bring in for season 4. Just a slight variation on the one that you've had for the previous 3 seasons, but I really liked it. You know, there's a little bit more kind of electric kind of synth to it, in addition to the more orchestral thing, which it kind of started off with. So I really like that. Remember, don't forget to go back and check out all of my previous reviews of everything from Doctor Who, starting with Rose all the way up until the season 3 finale. I've done lots of Doctor Who rankings on the channel, and like I said, if you like the idea of me doing one where I focus on the companions and their first ever story with the Doctor, please drop that down in the comments below. But for now, my name is Kevin. I am a geek, and you have been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.